The Galactic Council had declared humanity extinct 3 centuries ago. Their world, reduced to ash and radioactive glass during the Great Purge, served as a warning to other species who might dare to resist the Council's expansion. The humans had fought harder than any species before them, but in the end, they fell like all the others. Or so we thought. The Discovery. My name is Veldar, Chief Xenoarchaeologist of the Council's Historical Preservation Fleet. We map dead civilizations, catalog their artifacts, and move on. It's academic work, safe, predictable, boring. Until we found the signal. It was broadcasting from the Kuiper belt of the Sol system, barely detectable, cycling through hundreds of dead languages. When our translation matrix finally cracked it, the message was simple. USS Vendetta. Still here. Still waiting. My scales went cold. Every schoolchild in Council space knew about the Vendetta. It was humanity's last dreadnought, the ship that held off an entire battle fleet for 6 months while the human evacuation fleet scattered into deep space. Intelligence reports said it was destroyed when Sol's star went supernova during the final orbital bombardment. But here it was. Broadcasting. 300 years later. Approach. The Council wanted it destroyed immediately. I convinced them to let me investigate first. Historical significance, I argued. We need to understand how it survived. They gave me 3 days and a military escort, 5 heavy cruisers, just in case. As we approached, our sensors painted an impossible picture. The Vendetta was intact. Scarred, certainly. Hull breaches sealed with what looked like melted asteroids. Entire sections dark and depressurized. But its central structure remained whole, drifting in the debris field of humanity's cratered homeworld. Life signs? I asked. Negative, my sensor officer replied. But, there's power. Reactors still running at 15% capacity. 15%. For 3 centuries. What were these humans? Boarding. We docked at one of the remaining airlocks. My team consisted of myself, 2 security officers, and Dr. Kess, a specialist in human technology. We were armed, armored, and absolutely terrified. The airlock still functioned. When we cycled through, emergency lighting flickered to life in the corridor beyond, painting everything in blood-red shadows. The walls were covered in writing. Human script, scratched into metal with tools, fingers, anything sharp. My translator struggled with the dialect, but certain phrases came through clearly. Remember Earth. We do not forgive. Day 47,892. Still alive. Still fighting. They survived, Kess whispered. After the battle. Some of them survived on the ship. Impossible, one of my security officers said. No supplies. No support. No way. But the evidence surrounded us. Supply lockers converted into hydroponic gardens, now long dead. A makeshift water reclamation system built from salvaged components. Sleeping quarters in what used to be a missile battery. They'd lived here. For years. Maybe decades. The bridge. We made our way to the bridge. The door was sealed, reinforced with welded plating. It took us an hour to cut through. Inside, we found them. 17 skeletons, still sitting at their stations. Some wore the remains of military uniforms. Others were dressed in civilian clothes, evacuees, perhaps, or crew who'd run out of proper gear decades ago. In the captain's chair sat a human female, her bones still holding a data pad. Kess carefully extracted it and connected it to our systems. A hologram flickered to life. The woman, alive, her face gaunt but defiant. The captain's log, final entry. Captain Sarah Chen, USS Vendetta, final log entry. Year 298 postfall. My breath caught. 298 years. They'd survived for nearly 3 centuries on this dead ship. If you're watching this, congratulations. You found us. I assume you're Council forces, here to confirm the kill or loot the wreckage. Well, I have a message for you. We know you think you won. You glassed our world, scattered our people, and declared us extinct. But here's what you didn't understand about humanity: we're too stubborn to die. This ship was supposed to go down in the Battle of Saturn. We were supposed to detonate our reactor and take out your flagship in a final blaze of glory. But we survived. Damaged, dying, but alive. So we made a choice. We could try to escape, chase after the refugee fleets with our broken FTL drive. Or we could stay. We could keep fighting. We stayed. The hologram showed scenes from their years of survival. Humans working in impossible conditions, recycling every molecule of air and water. Growing food in compartments exposed to hard vacuum. Teaching children, there had been children, in makeshift schools. And all the while, they'd kept the ship operational. Kept the weapons online. Kept broadcasting their presence to any Council forces that came near. We raided your supply convoys. Ambushed your scout ships. Every Council vessel that got too close to Sol space for the last 3 centuries. We made them disappear. We made you afraid to come here. We turned our graveyard into a fortress. It was true. I'd seen the reports, filed away as unexplained losses in dead space. No one had connected them to the supposedly destroyed Vendetta. Now, there's only 17 of us left. The youngest is 83. We're the last generation. There's no one left to have children, and our supplies are finally running out. So this is where humanity's war with the Council ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. 17 old soldiers, dying at their posts. The captain's recorded face hardened. But before we go, we have one last gift for you. This ship has been transmitting continuously for 3 centuries. Not just our position. We've been broadcasting everything. Every technical schematic. Every tactical manual. Every piece of human military doctrine and technology we possessed. And we aimed our transmission outward. Into deep space. Toward the territories where our refugee fleets fled. So here's your nightmare, Council: somewhere out there, our children's children have been receiving this data for 300 years. They've been learning. Building. Preparing. You didn't make humanity extinct. You just made us angry. The truth revealed. Kes was already working his console frantically. Commander, she's right. The transmission array, it's not just broadcasting locally. It's a phased array, aimed at specific coordinates in deep space. 12 different vectors, all leading away from Council space. How long has it been broadcasting? Based on the power logs? Since the day after the battle. 299 years, 4 months, and 17 days of continuous transmission. My blood ran cold. Can we calculate where the signals are going? I can try, but, Kes paused. Sir, I'm detecting gravitational anomalies. Multiple contacts. They're dropping out of FTL. The escort fleet? No, sir. These are coming from the outer system. Dozens of them. No, hundreds. They came home. On the tactical display, ships began appearing. Not Council designs. These were human vessels, but wrong. Evolved. 3 centuries of exile had transformed them into something new. Sleek predators built from desperation and fury. My communications officer's voice shook. Sir, we're being hailed. It's them. The face that appeared on our screen was human, but weathered by generations in deep space. A young woman, perhaps 30, with her grandmother's eyes. Council vessel, she said in perfect galactic standard, this is Admiral Jessica Chen of the Free Human Fleet. You are in violation of quarantine protocols around Sol Space. And you have boarded my great-grandmother. Kept her post for 298 years. She kept humanity's last warship operational. She kept broadcasting our history, our knowledge, our anger into the void so that we would never forget what you took from us, asterisk. Now we're here to collect our inheritance. Epilogue. The Council's official records state that the xenoarchaeological mission to Sol Space was lost with all hands due to equipment failure. They don't mention the human fleet. They don't mention the demands for reparations. They don't mention the territory negotiations that followed. But I survived. Admiral Chen released me to carry a message back to the Council. I stood on the bridge of the Vendetta one last time before I left. The 17 skeletons had been removed, given proper honors in a ceremony I was allowed to witness. The ship itself was being restored, transformed into a memorial and a promise. As I prepared to leave, a young human technician approached me. She couldn't have been more than 20. My great-great-grandmother served on this ship, she said quietly. She was 8 years old when Earth fell. She grew up here, in the dark, eating algae paste and breathing recycled air. She lived to be 97. Before she died, she told me, never let them forget what we survived. Never let them forget what we're capable of. She looked at me with eyes that had seen generations of struggle. So tell your council, humanity isn't extinct. We're not scattered refugees anymore. And we haven't forgotten. I delivered that message. The council didn't believe me at first. They sent a task force to Sol Space to verify the situation. That task force never came back. The council now recognizes human space as sovereign territory. We trade, we negotiate, we maintain diplomatic relations. But we never, ever send military forces near Sol Space. Because we learned what the 17 on the Vendetta tried to teach us, you can kill a human civilization, but you can't kill human.